If you decided that this is the year that you'll finally lock in and make music producing your full-time career, then this is the video for you. I'm a top 2% producer with 126 million streams, 9 top 50 records, and I made my first 100K producing. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what I do if I had to start over and make music production my career in 2026. So the first thing I do is that I get super clear on my goal. Now, when it comes to your goal, you want to know 3 things. You want to know what it is that you want to achieve, how you're going to achieve it, and when you want to achieve it by. So let's start there. So first, list out what it is that you want to achieve. So for this example, I'm going to say, okay, I want to make 5K a month through producing. Then the next question becomes, okay, how do I want to make that? Well, I want to make that through placements, right? And then when? January 1st, 2027. Once you figure these things out, you can just write out a goal statement like make 5K a month through placements by January 1st, 2027. And now you want to reverse engineer this goal. So you want to think, okay, what needs to happen in order for that to be true? You could have 5 songs streaming 1 million a month with a 20% royalty cut. That will get you there. And then for this example, you want to think, okay, what needs to be true? So for example, you need to have a strong brand, right? Because if we want to get songs that stream 1 million a month, we need to work with artists who are actually capable of making that happen. And if we want artists who are capable of making that happen, we need a strong brand. So then the first thing becomes like, okay, cool, make content for IG. Then for placements, we want to send out music, of course. Otherwise, how would we even get placed to begin with? Then we want to know artists and producers. So we're going to do outreach and networking to know those artists and producers so that we actually have somebody to send out music to. Then with all of this, we also, of course, need to make great music, which means that we need to spend time making beats so that we can get better at it, right? So that's all we need to do. We need to send music out. We need to do outreach and networking. We need to make a little content, and then we need to spend time making music. So once you know that, then you can do some action and planning. And I like to separate it into one-off tasks and ongoing tasks. So one-off tasks are tasks like setting up a PRO, creating an Instagram, registering songs. Ongoing tasks are the tasks that you'll do on a consistent basis. So for example, content. You'll need to do content like once a week perhaps, like nothing crazy, just simple pictures like this so that your Instagram looks alive and you have somewhat of a brand building. And then you just want to list out the things that you need to do in order to have the output of one content piece. It might be you want to find 5 content ideas. You want to look up some people, see what kind of post they're doing, and then make a similar post. Then once you figure out the post that you want to make that day, then you need to capture it by either taking the picture, screen recording the beats, or whatever it is that you need to do. So then you want to capture it. And then you want to post it. So once you capture the content, you want to post the content so that it actually gets out into the world. And then you have a repeatable checklist that you can just do over and over again, which makes it more likely that you'll actually reach your goal because you're following a repeatable process. Then you want to send out music. So for example, you want to listen through an artist's music, of course, so that you know what you're going to send them. Then you pick 6 beats or whatever that fits, and then you send them through text and mail. And you know that once you have followed this checklist, you'll have sent out beats, right? Which is crucial in order to reach your goals if your goal is to get this through placements. Because if you don't send your stuff out, you won't be able to get placed. Then we have networking. So in order to actually have somebody to send out music to, we need to network, of course. And the way that we do that is by first finding 25 artists, finding 25 producers, perhaps putting them in a list, and then DMing them. Lastly, we need to make beats. So here you just write out the process that you have for making beats. In my case, I like to listen to some music first, just get in the mood, get in the vibe. Then I make 5 beats and then I just repeat that process. And here what I recommend is like start doing these things. And then once you're doing these things, you're going to find a repeatable process that you are following. So I wouldn't try to make a system or a process before actually doing it. But if you, for example, start networking and you notice that, oh, I always like finding people first and then I like DMing them, then that becomes your process. Because if it's something that you do on a repeatable basis, then that is your process. And then once you found your process, you can write it down so that you have it as a checklist, and that way you can follow it and make it repeatable. Because if you repeat the same outcomes that once gave you success, it's a very high likelihood that it'll give you success again, granted that you do the process as well. So in this example, I'm talking about making this happen through placements. And when it comes to getting placements, the first thing that we need to do is to create demand. Because now we're pursuing music as a business. You're going to be acting as a business and you're going to be making money from this. And just like any other business, this business of yours is going to run off of supply and demand. So the first thing that we want to do is to create demand. And if I'm in a position where I have hundreds of beats on my hard drive, then I focus on creating demand because I already have the supply. And the way that you create demand in this scenario is through networking. So what you want to do here is that you want to find artists and producers to network with. And the way that I like doing that is by going to Instagram, finding a big artist, look at who they're following, like that, and then reach out to the people that they're following. And the reason I recommend reaching out to people who are connected to bigger artists is because mostly in the beginning you won't be able to get big artists. However, you will be able to work with their friends and the people who are like one step above you. Because when you do that, you gain a network of the right people and it puts you in a position to where you can actually reach the big names soon enough because this helps build your brand. So as I mentioned, the first thing that you want to do is just to find them, and I like finding them that way. Then once you found them, you get their attention. I like leaving a comment on their posts, perhaps reposting a release of theirs to my story, and then just sending a DM over. That easy. Then once you've done that, then it's time for step 3, which is to deliver to that demand. Because now you have created demand. People want beats from you. And once you created the demand, you need to actually deliver to it too. So what I like doing here is that I'll listen to at least 10 of the artist releases. So if I just got in touch with an artist, I'll go to Spotify, I'll check out their music, I'll listen to all of their releases. Then once I listen to them and I know what kind of style it is that they actually want, I'll go ahead and collect references that are in that style of high performing songs. So songs with 10 million plus streams, 20 million plus streams will depend a little bit on the market that you're in. But then I'll just go and collect those references, which I can then use for inspiration and as guidelines so that I can make the best beats possible for that artist. Since this is almost like work at this point, it's not just like random creation and oh, you're having so fun. Don't get me wrong, it's fun, but sometimes this is gonna become work. And then because it's work, what I like doing is that I like to make 10 drafts of the beats really, really quickly. So I'll just make the drafts. Then once I have made like 10 drafts, I'll just go back, listen to the ones I really like the most, see if I want to change anything, like do little tweaks. Then once I've done those tweaks and fixes, I'll collect the best 6 of those beats and send them out. I found that way to work really well, prevent overthinking, and actually help me make higher quality packs because I'm just creating, and then I'm sorting it through. So I'm using my creative brain first, then I use my logical sorting brain to actually condense down what it is that I want to be sending. And then you want to keep sending these beats and deliver until you get a release. And what I recommend doing here to keep track of all of these things is to create a sheet like this. And I'm going to be sharing this for free inside of my free community. The link is in the description to join that. But essentially what you want to do is that you want to make a sheet like this so that you can keep track of all the people that you're sending out beats to. So here you can write the name, then you write the Instagram link, phone number, email, which makes it really easy to send out because whenever you want to send out, you can just have their contact info here, copy paste it real quick and keep it pushing so that it doesn't take you a whole bunch of time. Then you want to keep track of, okay, have I DM'd them? Yes. So for example, let's say I have DM'd these, but then I say like, okay, I have DM'd them, but I have not sent beats. Then I can go look at those conversations and see, okay, why have I not sent? Have they stopped responding to me? All right, then I follow up. Have I sent out beats, but they haven't checked them out? All right, I'm gonna follow up with more beats. And this way you can just stay on top of things and make sure nothing falls through the cracks and you actually maximize your opportunities. And that's step 3, which is to deliver to the demand. Now, step 4 is that you want to climb and gain leverage. Now, the way that we gain leverage here is by consistently networking one step ahead of the level that you're at. So for example, let's say you're working with an artist, he has 10K monthly listeners. You start releasing songs with him. That means that now the next step that you want to get to is that you want to work with an artist who has perhaps 30K monthly listeners. Then once you work with an artist who has 30K, you want to get to 50K. And the beauty about this is that it's pretty easy to network one step ahead, but it's very hard to network 10 steps ahead. But by doing this, like working with somebody who has 10K, then 50K, then 70K, you are consistently leveling up by working one step ahead of you. And that's what makes this so effective. And this is a little bit controversial, but I do believe that it can be good working for free, because even if you're not getting paid in money, you're getting paid in something else, which is you're getting paid in experience, connections, and the opportunity to leverage that and move one step ahead. What I personally did was that I would get to one level. So for example, I want to work with an artist who have 50K monthly listeners. Then once I worked with somebody who has 50K monthly listeners, every single person who is at 50K or below, I'll charge for. Perhaps I want to get 70K. I'll do the first one for free, 70K. Then everybody below that, I charge for. And then I just keep going like that. That allows you to move quicker because you can just get to one level and one level. And then charging will become easier too because you have a strong brand, and when you have a strong brand, you can charge more. And when it comes to charging, I'd start small, but if I was working with independent artists who have a lot of streams, and they're consistently getting like over 3 or 4 million streams on the songs that we release, I would try to get high royalty cuts, like 20 to 30% on the master, and then 50-50 on the publishing. However, if it's upfront payments, I would start low with like 100, and then just keep raising prices as my brand grows, and raise prices until you literally can't no more. And these are the 4 steps that I would take to actually make music my career in 2026.